You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Days of Our Lives fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we have got to talk about a big casting twist that could change a front burner storyline. I am just wondering if Sloan Petersen is going to get away with it because Ari Zucker's alleged firing may have changed a lot of things behind the scenes and in the writer's room. Hey, please click subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt. And now let's dig in. So we know Nicole Walker left Salem on January 19th, and that means her character was written out on or about July 19th, 2023, because they shoot 6 months out. She's back this Friday, February 16th, 2024, which you should have just seen. And that means they brought her back around August 16th, 2023. So according to Ari Zucker's lawsuit and her press conference about it, she says Ken Corday wrote her out of the show because she raised allegations of harassment behind the scenes. And then she said her attorney got involved because she still had 6 months left on her current contract. And it looks like it took them a few weeks to force Days to take her back if the allegations are true, because she was offset for about 4 weeks based simply on the air date gaps that we are observing from January to February. So after all of this, in January, executive producer Ken Corday did an interview and he talked about upcoming storylines for Days of Our Lives in 2024. I think Ken Corday was doing the interview because Ron Carlivati wasn't writing them. They were written by replacement writers. And so I don't think that Ron is going to talk about work that he didn't write about. He wasn't happy about, being replaced and other writers coming in. So Corday did an interview with TV Insider, and that came just a few weeks before news broke that they'd fired, allegedly, Ari Zucker, and she filed a lawsuit against Corday, fired director-producer Albert Alar, and others. So here's what Ken Corday said in January after Ari had likely wrapped filming on Days of Our Lives as Nicole. He said that the big story of the baby switch takes a surprising turn. He said that Sloan was going to unravel from the stress of the secret, and we are certainly seeing that now. She's drinking heavily. She's ranting about getting no sleep, no sex, and just too much baby. Plus, Leo Stark keeps showing up to blackmail her out of money she doesn't really have and make her feel like garbage for stealing Nicole Walker's baby. So Corday said that Sloan will demand that the baby be returned to Nicole. So that had me wondering at the time, who would Sloan make this demand to, and is she willing to go to prison to make it happen? Well, I definitely don't think she wants to go to prison, and neither do her two co-conspirators, skeevy lawyer Melinda Trask and sketchy Dr. Pierce. So I suspect her demand about giving back the baby will be directed at her pal Trask, who was the one who suggested the whole baby stealing scheme to start with. So what's interesting is Corday also said, quote, "When and if Nicole learn the truth will be something to tune in for." When and if Nicole and Eric learn the truth. If. That's interesting. It's very interesting wording. And that has me wondering if Nicole Walker will ever learn what happened before her character is exited permanently, as far as we know, in about 4 months, give or take, because I don't think Ari Zucker mentioned the exact date she stopped filming. She talked in her lawsuit and press conference about them not negotiating in good faith with her in October 2023, when she usually talks contract renewal with them. And if I recall, she said everything fell apart in December. So I think probably December or January, she was probably done at Days. And that means she's off in like May or June. Then just this week, I saw a photo on Rob Wilson's Instagram. And of course, Robert Scott Wilson plays Alex Kidiakis. It was him in his dressing room at Days, and he was horsing around with Greg Vaughan, who of course plays Eric Brady. That means Eric is still on screen at Days of Our Lives 6 months from now, August 2024, give or take, which is months after Nicole's upcoming exit. So I just wonder what that means, given that baby Jude is Nicole and Eric's baby, and she's leaving town after Sloan gives back the baby. So we don't know a timeline for when Sloan does give the baby back, but there's a chance it could come at the tail end of February sweeps. Right now, we're only about halfway through sweeps, so there is still time. Sloan is totally unraveling, as Ken Corday said she would. And the week of February 19th through the 23rd, we have more of Leo showing up uninvited to the apartment Sloan shares with Eric. Leo is again invading their private time, and he will continue to do it. Leo promised Sloan he won't stop until she gives back that baby. So again, I expect Sloan and Melinda to cook up some sort of medical error type of scheme to explain it and enable Nicole to get her baby back from Sloan without any arrests being made. And yes, I know there is a DNA test to be dealt with that said EJ wasn't a match. They can explain that too. This is a soap that resurrects people, okay? Don't get hung up on something small like a piece of paperwork. They will fix it if they want to. So it sure seems like if Nicole were staying on days, the full truth would ultimately have to come out, that Jude is the son of Eric and Nicole. However, with Ari Zucker leaving, the truth coming out may not be feasible or practical. I mean, with Nicole leaving and Eric staying, that means there's no long-term reunion coming for Eric and Nicole, at least not with Ari Zucker in the role. And if there's not, then who else is there for him romantically? I mean, Eric doesn't have a huge list of lovers in her past. He's not a man slut like a lot of the other characters on days, a lot of the other himbos rolling around. I mean, there's Jada, but she's with Rafe now, and Eric's, I think, still a little upset that she aborted their child, even though he told her he respected her right to choose. Kristen Demara's around, but, you know, she raped Eric. They didn't have a relationship. Brady just reminded Kristen of that and the viewers, so that's a non-starter. I mean, keeping Sloan around to be with Eric seems like it's possible. Could be part of their plan. Only that means they probably need to keep it hidden that it is Eric's baby so she doesn't wind up in jail or dumped by Eric. And if EJ Demara is staying in Salem too, then they're going to have to find a way to explain Nicole leaving with their baby or her leaving without the baby, which seems unlikely. So it's a lot of questions to be answered. There is a new character coming soon that Anna Lynn McCord is playing. Her name is Marin. Maybe she's meant for Eric. I suspect not. I think she is intended for Chad. So maybe Sloan Petersen is going to stick around and Eric's going to be stuck with her for a little while longer. With Nicole leaving, keeping Sloan around and married to Eric Brady implies that she may get away with all of it. Fortunately for Nicole, Leo doesn't know that Eric's the daddy. If I recall correctly, and drop in a comment if you disagree, but I think Leo remains under the impression that Jude is Nicole and EJ's baby. So we shall see how it goes, but knowing more about what's ahead for Ari Zucker's character, Nicole, has me really wondering if Sloan could get away with everything she's done. Hey, please click subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely drop your comments and come back soon. We are here talking days, 7 days a week, and as always, it is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.